All right, everyone who wants to make it, follow me.
I'm behind you.
Everybody, here.
Wait. Damn it, he's here. Rover's here. No.
I got you.
Oh, thanks. Another one.
So we need to move upstairs and fast before the ghouls come again. Let's try the second floor.
Okay, I'll cover our back.
What the?
Never mind, keep moving.
This way, come on. Great. Pick up these barricade sets. Let's defend here.
All right, this is our chance to make it. Don't screw it up.
Wait for me, guys! Wait for me! They're coming!
How many?
I don't know, man. There's a whole lot of them. Just be ready.
Oh, shit. Hurry up. I see them. Fire!
We did it.
No!
If you don't know what that was, this is what it was. Dead Dozen. New game coming out 2018. We don't know when. To those of you that joined this video because you wanted to learn more, stay tuned. You will find more. This video is going to be a collaboration. It's a one big video all about Dead Dozen. And first up, I wanted to show you guys the trailer and then break it down a bit. So let's rewatch this. As you can see, pre-alpha video. Now we're going to pause it here. As we can see, there are so many different things that we can use for a game like this. Normally for a game there's like 4 different roles. There's usually like, you know, the defense role, which is all about like throwing in barbed wire or turrets or, you know, landmines, bear traps, something along those lines. There's always like a support class. It's always like, here's some ammo, here's some specialty ammo, here's some health supplies, here's some, you know, call outs, some tagging systems to show people where people are. There's always like an offensive thing where, you know, you can use like a rocket launcher as your ability, or you have like a stun gun, or you have something that's like all about getting in up close and personal. And then it's not really scouting in the other thing, but we usually like have something like that's balanced, right? Like something that's more about like, alright, general buffs and everything, but not one buff if anything, you know, so it's not like just straight power or straight anything. But to see that this game has like so many different things that we can pick, like I can only imagine what like half of these things do. I mean, like this one we get to see in the video, as you can see, was him shooting a taser at one of them, which was really interesting, really cool. We get to, I'm assuming that's a smoke bomb, and this is, I'm assuming, is just barbed wire, and it, you know, I'm assuming it's very self-explanatory, and yeah. But the fact that they have this many roles is outstanding.
All right, everyone who wants to make it, follow me.
I'm behind you.
Alright, so right here, we get to see a glimpse of like his abilities. Like at the bottom here, I know this is not really the best thing that I can do. and I'm not even sure if putting in full screen actually makes it work with the recording software I got. But as we can tell, we have like 3 abilities down here, and the spacing's a little bit weird in my opinion. I'm assuming this blood bar down here is like these abilities are passed on to the ghouls, like the other little ones, the ones that you kill and turn into humans. I'm assuming that you turn your, you know, the human ghouls, and they can get these powers, but they gotta fill up this bar to get these powers. And I'm assuming the bar can be filled up in a numerous different ways, either by, you know, getting shot by a human, being around humans, breaking down barricades that humans have set up, or simply killing humans. I'm assuming that's what gets your powers, and you can do what Rover can do, which, if you didn't know, is, you know, this guy down here, the main head ghoul, in which, yeah, you'll get to see, or just seeing him right now. But yeah, you get to see, like, what his HUD looks like, and these look like abilities to me, so.
Everybody, here.
Wait.
And as you can see right there, I'll redo it for you again.
Everybody, here.
Wait.
You can see him doing a little dash where he moves abnormally fast for the current speed that he normally does. He also one-hit kills the survivor there, and the game literally just started, mind you, so I'm assuming his charge is designed to be like, you use it, it has a cooldown, but you can one-hit down people, it's very short-ranged, all about, you know, getting up close and personal, but if you catch him at a distance, he's kind of fucked. That's kind of how I look at him. So, really interesting, really cool.
Damn it. He's here. Rover's here. No.
I got you.
Thanks. Another one.
So we need to move upstairs and fast before the ghouls come again. Let's try the second floor.
Okay, I'll cover our back.
What the?
Never mind. Keep moving.
This way. Come on. Great. Pick up these barricade sets. Let's defend here.
All right. This is our chance to make it. Don't screw it up.
Wait for me, guys!
And right there we get to see a perfect example of what we can expect during the alpha. We can actually board up things. Now, of course, we've seen other games that have this similar, you know, aspect to them, such as No More Room in Hell. We get to see a little bit of it in Left 4 Dead. Not much. Kind of like, you know, you can push obstacles in the way to block it. You can close the door right and they can bust through it. But I mean, this is like, I'm pretty sure No More Room in Hell is like the only game that I can think of that you can actually put up a board like this. But this combines Left 4 Dead's kind of style of blocking out zombies with No More Room in Hell, which, you know, I've been waiting for a game that does this. So, great job devs on that part. Fucking dope.
Guys, wait for me! They're coming!
How many?
I don't know, man. There's a whole lot of them.
And now I just want to point out, this red figure has not been touched from when we've seen him being touched whatsoever.
Just be ready.
Right? Keep your eye on
Hurry
the
up.
red guy.
I see them. Fire!
This looks like an animation of like a command. I'm wondering whether or not like you can like tell your minions to go do something at somewhere at some time, such as like, I don't know, like they get a heads up blinker that tells them, I'd like you to break this wall, or I'd like you to come over here, kind of idea, which would be really interesting and really cool if that's the case, because that makes communication so much more easier, because the head ghoul can give out orders and do all the planning for you, and as the player, you just have to worry about skill level and, you know, in the heat of the moment thinking. We also get to see that after he used his charge ability, the red thing that's all the way up at 3 at the start of the game was actually lowered now. So I'm assuming maybe it's not even a cooldown thing. Maybe he actually has to go get kills, and then you get that ability to come up. These ability are like, if you cast it, it consumes a bit of blood, which would be really cool if that's the case. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are, like, gonna find this very exciting or very unusual or whatnot, but breaking walls is always fucking cool in any game, and I know Rainbow Six Siege has done this, fucking Battlefield 4 has done this, I know, like, a ton of games that have, like, done this, where you can just bust down the wall and say, fuck that, I would rather go around. You know, even, like, PUBG, you can break down a lot of different walls and fences and stuff. So, I'm just saying, like, this is not exactly, you know, new to gamers. We know that there's a lot of games where you can do this, but I just would like to stress that this is still pretty cool that you can do this, especially in a type of game like this. This makes it feel like no matter what you do, no matter how you barricade, no matter what you do or set up, right, you're going to feel like there's always this tendency. And the fact that you can break down the ceiling makes me think, what if you could break down the floors that they're standing in and make you drop into another room infested with these things? Or what if you can make them drop from, like, you know, or you can break the ceiling and then you drop in on them, which would be crazy too. Like, maybe you don't have to take this wall, maybe you can take a different approach. And in my opinion, that's pretty cool. And right there, like, I know I didn't pause it right on time, but we got to see what Impulse's taser looks like, and still pretty cool. Still pretty cool that, like, you know, they got most of their animations done. I'm not gonna say, like, they're not, like, amazingly polished, this is the best game ever kind of thing, but for a pre-alpha, like, this is, like, not even alpha, and alpha is on the 18th, mind you, which is, you know, in about 2 weeks. This is not even close to finished product, so you still gotta give them, like, a lot of credit for, like, what they've done with it, so still pretty cool.
We did it.
And then right there we see him transform out of nowhere into the ghoul, right? So this kind of speculates that maybe you can have an infect, that they actually are like zombies and not just like ghouls. Alright, and that was the trailer. Now we're gonna go take a look at their forms and do a little bit of studying. Alright. So now, I'm not sure if you're going to find this really important. Maybe you already knew this information. Maybe you have already seen it, but just in case if you didn't, we are pleased to present you a new screenshot of Dead Desert, which shows one of the ghoul leaders, Rover. At the beginning of the game, a random player will become the ghoul leader. All ghoul leaders will have an increased health and movement speed, which also has a high chance to infect survivors during the attack. Rover's unique skills are Charge and Adrenaline Rush, which makes him a specialist in close combat. So, as we can tell, infect is going to be a thing in the game. That's confirmed because of what they said. A higher chance to infect. That means we don't actually have to kill you to make you into this. So it's kind of a level of deceit where, you know, they could be like, you don't know who you meet up with after, you know, you start the game, if they're actually, you know, infected or not. So this kind of makes people want to group up more instead of, like, you know, go off. Otherwise they're gonna get into some battles, which would be really interesting. So here's the animation video too of what they were working on. So we get to see what barbed wire looks like, so it's kind of right. So, oh well, imperfect. Barbed wire and bear traps. Barbed wire, when sprung out on the floor, it can slow everyone who will pass through it. It can perfectly help in defending against rapid attacks of ghouls, but look, don't get into it by accident while trying to escape. The trap is a classic, capable for a few seconds of stopping anyone who steps into it while doing damage. Only works once. So, I'm assuming like you can put down the barbed wire, it slows people, it does damage, but it's not a one-time use. Like you can, well, it is and isn't. Like you stop it, Twitter. Oh yeah, I'll leave my Twitter page in the comments section below. But anyways, the barbed wire, I'm assuming, is just going to be like a constant DPS and slow wherever you want. So this is going to be like the optimal choice if you want to do like a super barricaded wall thing. So if you wanted to do what these guys did in the video, you could probably run the barbed wire, put it on top of your thing, and that way they have to come through that one doorway, so you don't really have to guard it. Right? So you just have to guard that one broken wall, which would make, you know, barricading and stuff a lot easier. Picture of a new gun we'll get to see in the game, which is pretty cool looking. A sawed-off shotgun, always love that. The SAR-L, Soviet equipment prototype of a submachine gun, which was in development for the purpose of arming special forces. A universal weapon by the force and rate of fire among automatic rifles. So it just kind of sounds like it's going to be like a rifle which deals a lot of damage, has a lot of high rate of fire, but it doesn't have a lot of range or accuracy to it. So it's kind of something you're going to want to use in like close, you know, succession. The SG-66, a sawed-off shotgun with deadly powerful at deadly powerful at close range, but containing only 2 rounds, so it requires high accuracy of shooting. So basically what it says is this is probably going to be like one of the most powerful guns in the beta or in the alpha at the time. And it's, yeah, it's kind of a trade-off. Do you want to have a lot of ammunition, or do you want to drop guys faster? Kind of, what do you want? So, cool. We get to see 2 new items. Adrenaline injector. This is a classic accelerator of your character. This is an indisputable thing when you need a quick escape from danger. So I'm assuming it's just something that you kind of stick in your leg, shoot yourself up with, you become faster, you take less damage, you have a less chance to get infected, and you know, it's just something you can just get out of like sticky situations easier. Flashlight, or flash gun, which allows you to blind another player for both the survivor and ghoul in close combat. Use it to get a chance to escape from battle. That's interesting that they point out from other survivors, because this makes me think, what if friendly fire is the thing? What if like there could be battles between you and somebody else? That could add like a layer of fear. But I feel like it's going to be like No More Room in Hell, where you can only kill the infected individuals. Which, you know, still pretty cool. We'll tackle this in a second. The 45S is an excellent 20-round pistol with the ability of automatic fire, which makes you very dangerous in close combat. It has an increased rarity of finding. So it's going to be a gun that's really hard to find, but apparently it's a full auto 20-round pistol, so it's kind of like the perfect secondary to have, basically having an SMG for, you know, your sidearm, which is always nice to have, especially in a game like this. The SG-93, a classic 6-round pump-action shotgun with the proper handling. It provides a reliable rebuff to the wave of ghouls. To me, it just sounds like this shotgun is really good for crowd control. It deals a pretty good amount of damage, but it in itself won't hold against a wave. Like, you need somebody else who can do some DPS. So with this, it's pretty good, but, you know, you need something else to just back it up with. Playing as a survivor, no matter what, try to stay alive. Collect weapons, ammos, and items to confront beastly enemies. Use your brain while you still have it. Barricade doors and passages, move objects to construct obstacles, prevent ghouls from getting closer. Empower yourself. Access special boosters and utilize them to your advantage in combat. I'm not sure if that's like, you know, customization, or if that's just like your role, but either way, sounds cool to me, man. Playing as a ghoul, accept your next incarnation. Infect and spread the panic among other survivors. Find ways to achieve new goals. Destroy brittle walls, get through the air shaft. Sounds pretty basic. I feel like they were a little bit vague with that. They could have been a little bit more specific, but in a way, I kind of enjoy that they're holding back on that, kind of letting the people who have the alpha access to figure out whether or not it's going to be cool or not. Get the best of being undead. Gain bloodlust and apply special abilities that you have acquired. See, that's exactly what I was saying. So what if, like, so this kind of confirms to me that little red bar you have to fill up and you get powers. Now, this might not necessarily mean you get the same abilities as Rover, but the idea that you still get powers and that you have to, like, gain it through a bloodlust system still makes me feel like, alright, you know, still cool that, like, you don't just have these powers, except for Rover, and, you know, the head ghoul should do it. He should be a little bit more overpowered at the start of the game, but then again, he shouldn't have it throughout the entire thing. He's got to be smart about it. And it's not like he can only use it once either. Like, if he gets more kills, he gets, you know, more stuff. Now we'll check out the main menu's theme music. That's pretty cool. That is a pretty cool soundtrack. Like, awesome, right off the bat. Just awesome. That's all I can say. That's pretty dope. So, I just wanted to throw this out there. This is the question I had, as you can see up here, that I try to ask people, because I've noticed in the video that nobody was running, but I asked if running will be in the game as well. If you're referring to the sprinting, the dev said both teams will have the sprint ability, so both Ghoul and Survivor. That's interesting. But nobody used it, which was really weird. Why wouldn't you use it, you know? Oh, and this was just like, I was wondering, 'cause this is like one of my first games I ever pre-ordered, and I was kind of like wondering if it was just going to be for the 18th or if it was going to be that until beta. As you can see, the developer actually specifically said, hi, till beta, you can play it anytime. So that's pretty interesting. Alright, now if you stayed this long, you're probably a huge fan to the whole Dead Dozen thing, or you're really interested in the game, and either way, good for you. And thanks for staying around this long, I really appreciate it. But what I'm going to do is not facts right now. This is just speculation to what I think, the game is going to turn out to be. I feel like the loot spawns are going to be determined based on the levels, the floors. That's the first thing I want to cover, and the reason being is the loot system, like to get the better weapons you want, such as like maybe the 12 barrel or the 12 barrel double barrel. Dude, 12 barrel, what the fuck would that even look like? Never mind. But you know what I mean, like maybe the double barrel will be up there. Maybe. Just because it's got a lot of damage, but then again, it's not really reliable because it doesn't have a lot of ammunition, so it's kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be on the first floor. I feel like first floor is just going to be like maybe an AK, maybe some ammunition for it, maybe some ammunition for your starting pistol, maybe some boards. That's about it. I feel like the second level AKs are pretty prone to spawn up there. The double barrel might have a chance. I feel like the SMG can, but it's very rare. I feel like the third floor, like AKs will either spawn everywhere or nowhere, and it'll just be like SMGs everywhere. And then the fourth floor, it's no AKs. It's just gonna be all the good shit, all the good weapons, like the new pistol with the high rarity that they were speaking about. I feel like it's just gonna be like all ammo up there. Just because, here's my reasoning. If the ghoul starts at the top of the level, the fact that he has to choose between going down the steps to go after the people to lock down the good loot so that, you know, he can like prevent any bullshit from happening later on and in the long run stop a lot of deaths, but in the process not really getting a lot of people and the people get decent loot for the rest of the game. Or he can rush straight to the start of the game, kill like 4 people when they didn't have good loot, so that he doesn't lose any tickets, but then people get really good loot, and then the game gets interesting, but also complicated at the same time. I feel like it would add a good layer of difficulty to the game. It would change the game really drastically. I also feel like that elevator, you know, showing the elevator shaft and showing the elevator as it is, and that one screenshot that they did, which I will show, you know, later, I feel like you can use the elevator shaft to your advantage. Like, you'll be able to, like, use the elevator to go up and down. Either in the alpha or by launch. I feel like that's what they're going to try to do. And, yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. I feel like, for the next thing I want to cover, I feel like there's not just going to be that one ghoul. I feel like this one, like, it's going to be the one ghoul for alpha, so like for a long time it's going to be like the only ghoul you've ever heard of. But I feel like around beta they're going to have like 3 to 2 ghouls that you can use. I feel like 3. I feel like 3 is a safe number for them to play around with and you know, have a good foundation when they throw out the launch. You know, you'd have 3 guys that you can play with, so even if all the other ones are broken, that the players still get a good variety between them, and it'd be really cool. Yeah, and I feel like there's gonna be tons of weapons. I also feel like there's gonna, it's not just gonna be a game where you just launch into it, you just start it. I feel like there's gonna be some sort of upgrade, either through like your survivors get more perks and your ghouls get like, you know, different skins, or they get different, you know, there's no real killing animation in this, so I feel like it's either you're gonna get a bunch of different skins, or you're gonna get like, you know, you can swap out like your third power, because they've only specified 2 powers, right, and we've seen 3, so I feel like you will be able to swap out your third one for something interesting. It's either that, or you can buy new killers and buy attachments for your guns and stuff, and upgrade individual guns, so that when you find a gun, for you get all the upgrades, but if you drop it, they just get whatever they had upgraded, you know what I mean? It'd be really cool and be really interesting. Kind of the same concept with like Black Ops 3 when you bought a gun off the wall. If somebody else bought a gun off the wall and they didn't have any attachments bought on their account, then they'd just get the naked gun, but if somebody else did, they would get a fully upgraded gun. Know what I mean? Feel like that's what they're gonna do. And anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review and my thoughts on the video, the whole game. You can expect me to play this when it launches. I'm glad to see some people who are supporting this game as much as they did. And, yeah, can't wait to see you in this game. Peace out.